Well, as we enter what experts are calling the second wave, how could grocery supplies and purchasing patterns be impacted? For more on this, let's bring in Sylvain Charlebois. He is the Senior Director of the Agri-Food Analytics Lab at Dalhousie University, and he joins me from Halifax. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Good morning, Andrea.
All right, so let's start by looking at the first wave and what we learned there. And how did the pandemic slow food production and food security?
Well, two things were happening in the spring. First of all, a lot of people actually were visiting the grocery store without knowing when they could go back again. And so that's why a lot of people just overbought, and it led to more food waste, unfortunately. The other thing is food service. Restaurants were closing for almost 3 months in most parts of the country. And so you had that volume of sales being transferred from one sector to another. So grocery store really were struggling to keep up with the pace. And they eventually did. And over the summer, we've seen shelves being full again. And over several months now, the food industry has been preparing for a potential second wave.
Yeah, I do remember in the beginning, we did a lot of stories about the panic that people would be panic buying and buying mass amounts of toilet paper one minute, flour the next. How did the food industry respond?
They did respond very well. I mean, I must say that we witnessed a miracle in the spring, really, and you saw a high level of vertical coordination and collaboration between grocers and processors, even farmers. They all work together to make sure that shelves remain full as much as possible. But again, this pivot that needed to happen between food service and retail, you really needed to work together in order for that to happen, because it requires different packaging. The assortment of food had to change as well, and it all happened within weeks. So it was so chickens didn't stop laying eggs, and cows didn't stop milking. The problem is to get that milk, those eggs, to the market, to a different location. That was really a challenge.
Yeah. And when, I should be able to say if, but when the second wave happens, do you think we should expect to see a spike in food prices?
We are seeing food prices going up already. It's been happening even before COVID. Prices have gone up probably around 3.5 to 4% overall. At the beginning, meat products were an issue. Now it's produce, but overall things have calmed down a little bit. If you look at the latest report coming from Statistics Canada, which was released this week, the food inflation rate is now below 2%. The challenge, of course, is the general inflation rate, which is basically at zero. So everyone who visits a grocery store will notice that prices are going up, because everything else, nothing is actually going up in the economy except food.
Yeah. So what impact could the second wave have on food security?
We're not overly concerned, to be honest. Harvest has been pretty good in North America, in Europe, across the world. Mother Nature has cooperated. There are, of course, challenges, especially in California right now with wildfires. We do buy for over $3 billion worth of food, but our dollar has remained strong, so we can actually import products from elsewhere. However, if you take California out of the equation, we may actually have to spend a little bit more to get food from elsewhere, unfortunately.
All right. Well, thank you so much for that. From Halifax, that is Sylvain Charlebois, Senior Director of the Agri-Food Analytics Lab at Dalhousie University. Thanks again for your time.
Take care.